As I was in prayer this morning, I was just aware of great hope that I experience in my own life. And a question was stirring in my heart to ask you, do you have any problems of your own? Because I know, I've come to know the answer to all of my problems, to where I don't have any problems of my own anymore. And the key is consecration to Mary. Because when we consecrate our lives to Mary, if we really do it from the heart, then we are placing into her immaculate heart all of our problems, every area and aspect of our lives. And so we no longer have problems of our own. They become our mother's problem. And I'd like to share with you a story, a true story of an exorcist priest who was actually doing exorcism prayers with this woman. And so in one of their meetings, he asked the woman, would you be open to consecrating your life to Mary? And the woman said she would. And so he led her in a consecration, and then he had her write down her name, and he put it in a bowl at the foot of the statue of Mary to symbolize her giving her life to Mary. And the next time he was praying with this woman, Satan, or one of the demons, spoke through this woman and said, look in the bowl, her name is no longer there. And the exorcist priest said, you cannot do that because Mary is stronger than you. And the demon said, yes, but she gave her life to me. And he said, go to the foot of St. Joseph's statue and you will see a note. And sure enough, the priest went over there, and there was a letter that the woman had written to Satan when she was 12 or 13 years old, and it had burnt around the edges and it stunk. And Satan, the demon, said that she did not consecrate her life to Mary from the heart, and that's why he still had power over her. And so the priest asked the woman, would you consecrate your life to Mary from the heart? And the woman said that she would. And so the priest led her in a consecration from the heart. And afterwards, the evil one had to leave. He no longer had any power over this woman. And of course, it goes along with Genesis 3:15, where our Lord said, I will put enmity between you and the serpent, your offspring and his. And so this is our call. And so this is the key for us in consecrating our lives to Mary, is that we truly do it from the heart. And not only half-heartedly, but Louis de Montfort speaks of the third way of consecration to Mary, which is doing everything in, with, through, and for Mary, in order to do it most fully in, with, through, and for Christ. And so this means truly living our consecration to the third degree. And if we do this, then we're really surrendering everything of our lives. And a reported mystic once said that the one thing that prevents us from going straight to heaven when we die is our attachments in this life. And so when we live our consecration to Mary and to Jesus through Mary, then we are surrendering everything of our lives and not holding on to anything of our own. Of course, this is a lifelong process of growing in this. I have this image right here of, it's actually St. John Bosco's dream, but this is what was happening in the church as the waves were getting rougher and rougher, and the Holy Father was steering the ship of the church, in between these two pillars, which you see in the background. And on the top of one is Mary, and on the top of the other, higher up, is the Eucharist. And do we not kind of feel like this right now? in all that is going on in our country, but in the church. There's so much chaos. And truly the answer is anchoring on to the two pillars of Jesus and Mary. This is what happens when we anchor on. The waters begin to calm. And this is what happens in our own hearts and lives when we're anchored on to the two pillars, which is really the two hearts of Jesus and Mary. So I encourage us all to really respond to what our Holy Father encouraged us in. I'm going to read to you the program that John Paul II set out for us at the beginning of this new millennium. He said to contemplate the face of Christ and to contemplate it with Mary is the program which I have set before the Church at the dawn of the third millennium. To contemplate Christ above all in the living sacrament of his body and his blood. So may we all have the grace to anchor on to the two pillars, to the two hearts of to Jesus through Mary. God bless you all.